Hey guys, I just want to welcome you all back, YouTubers, also anyone from Pal Talk is coming to join us, also Godlike Production. This video here is based on Whitney Houston's death, and I know that you all are getting tired of hearing this subject about Whitney Houston and would like to lay this subject to rest. But there are major stuff that I had discovered in this case, and it only just added more and more to my suspicions that this was a cover-up and that this was a murder. But now even more confirmed that this is a murder and that this was a cover-up is that now we have the autopsy report, which I have right here, a copy of it sitting right here in my hands, and which I'm going to be talking about this here in just a few minutes. But before I get into that subject of the autopsy and breaking it down to show you the conspiracy and the cover-ups and the change of stories and the contradictory stories from the first initial report and statements that they given to the media on the very next day after her death, we find out in the autopsy report much more details of how that they collaborated and faked and manufactured this autopsy and lied about their actual position and timing of when they arrived at that hotel. And we're going to break that down, and I'm going to show you all, and I'm going to hope and pray that this information gets out to the families of Whitney Houston. I'm hoping and praying that this does not anger anyone that loved Whitney Houston, but only encourages those that love Whitney Houston and those that really supported Whitney Houston to actually stand up, not to be afraid, and to fight these people who were responsible for her death, which I do, and I'm going to keep telling you that her death was responsible and was held accountable to Clive Davis. He's one that invited her there to that show, and I believe that Clive Davis had his little conies slip drugs into her system to get her back hooked on drugs again, so that it would look and appeal to the public and appear to the public that she had OD'd or that she had taken drugs that caused her to have a heart attack, because that was the story that these people were going to sell to the public. But you will find out how in this segment of this video, and this is going to be quite a lengthy video because it's quite hard to discuss all this information and not make it, and not give you all the details to what I personally find as a blatant, deliberate disguise and a blatant deliberation of concealing and covering up a murder. But this murder does not just only stop around the inner circle of Clive Davis and the people in the inner circle of Whitney Houston. This conspiracy or this murder and this cover-up goes all the way to the top, all the way straight to the White House. That's right, and I've talked about this. I've discussed this in my last videos. I've told you, I've shown you, I have pleaded with you all to get you all to understand that Barack Obama was in that hotel as well. Now, that led me to believe from the very beginning to why that the autopsy was manufactured, why they lied to the public, why the coroners would even consider or even think about concealing the truth and covering up the actual crime and deceiving the public about a crime that had taken place. And I kept saying, okay, wait a minute. I know that they're not going to go through all this trouble of covering up all these crimes unless they were covering up for somebody in a very high position. Now you got to keep that and quote that in your mind. Keep reiterating back into your heads about that statement. Clive Davis may have been a powerful person, and he may have wanted to benefit off of Whitney's death. That's a given fact. Okay, I believe he's responsible for her death. I believe he's basically, and most likely, and for all practical intents and purposes, I believe he's the one who ordered her death, because I have a video that proves that he was angry at Whitney Houston just a month before her death. He gave an interview to the New York Times newspaper, and he was expressing his anger about how such a great talent as Whitney Houston destroying her voice, and how it displeased him that her voice is ruined, and that he did not see that she was going to be, in his eyes, I don't believe he felt that she was ever going to be able to make a comeback. But nevertheless, I have a video to show you that. Now, before I forget to disclose all this, I'm going to be stopping the video and playing videos throughout the segment so that I can brush and show you the evidence of how that this man manufactures these people and how that he sets them up for the fall in private life, and then but at the same time build their celebrity status to a high, but at the same time destroying their credibility and reputation in the back burner. We're going to discuss all of that, and we're going to show you how that this coroner, Ed Winters, and his assistant and his chief coroner officer who was on the scene of the crime, you're going to see how these people lied about her injuries and about what she had received in this situation after her death. You're going to see how that they collaborated the stories, how they added information to the autopsy that was not initially announced in his first initial statements he gave to the public. You're going to see all kinds of stuff in this video. This is going to blow your mind. And if this does not get any of you people, any of you Whitney Houston lovers, and get all you people that support Whitney Houston motivated and angry at Los Angeles Police Department, Beverly Hills Police Department, the coroner's office out of Los Angeles, if this does not piss you off enough to get you motivated to get this investigation reopened and to get those people responsible for covering up this crime and deceiving the public, you are a fool for letting this persons and these people and Clive Davis get away with a crime that was committed in that hotel. You will be a literal fool, and you're hearing straight from Rooster. I want you all to know for a fact that I am an angry American. I'm an angry man, and I'm angry that they killed an innocent person for nothing, for no reason whatsoever, just because this greedy bastard needed to fill his plants with a lot of money. And you will see how he expresses how his interest was more important than the interest of Whitney Houston. You will see how he shits all over her and doesn't even give a damn about her life whatsoever. When this man goes to a freaking party the same night that she dies, he still continues to go to a party, and he spoke for the family as if this man was he was a part of the family of Whitney Houston, and he could speak for him. He spoke as if they gave him authority to speak for him by saying that, oh, it's okay with the family that I continue on. They would understand that I would continue on with this party because this man spent millions of dollars for this Grammy party for that weekend. So this man is afraid to lose all of his interest and all of his money he's put forward to this Grammy party. He put it more above the death of his so-called friend that he called Whitney Houston. He wasn't no friends to Whitney Houston, guys. He didn't even give a damn about Whitney Houston. That's the reason why this man went on with the party. That's the reason why this man, Clive Davis, and I know that you all probably wonder what I'm doing here, is that this man, Clive Davis, you will find out that Clive Davis definitely had something to do with her death. This man even went on in the Grammys and allowed Nicki Minaj to do a sacrilege in a satanic, demonic, sacrilege, ritualistic ceremony in her performance, and he knew something bad had happened in that night. This to me turned out to be a blood sacrifice moment, and I'm not going to get into that tonight because it's not about a blood sacrifice, because I've already discussed this in my previous videos. And I know I'm long-winded, but I needed to get this off my chest before I start this segment of the video. Now, what you're about to witness, guys, is blatantly off the charts insane that these people were so slick that they had literally evaded and had covered up a crime that had been committed. We also have evidence that even Ray J, which is, oh my God, this guy is a wicked freaking weirdo, man. This guy was seen by not only the family members, he was seen by several people running out of the hotel with his head tucked under like this, trying to avoid the cameras and trying to avoid people seeing him, running out of that hotel to avoid being labeled or being put in that hotel room alone with Whitney Houston, as if he's the runner, as if he's the one who gave Whitney Houston the drugs to make her to make her high, that would cause her to ultimately collapse in the bathtub. This is what I personally feel that he had done. Now, we can go on a million times over. We can argue till the cows come home. It doesn't make a difference to me. But I see that this person literally was responsible for the death of Whitney Houston. But there's much more than just simply Clive Davis being responsible to the death. We have many reports that prove that without a shadow of a doubt, now we can speculate, and of course and even though we have speculation, but you got to start putting speculation together with connecting the dots, connecting 1 + 1 = 2, and 2 + 2 = 4, and on and on and on. You have to literally use all these speculations to help piece the puzzle together to how that we can put Barack Obama exactly in the same time frame, in the same time zone, and in the same place exactly in the moment when Whitney Houston died. This is what I did, is that I found out that Whitney Houston was in that that Barack Obama was in that hotel exactly on the day that Whitney Houston died. We also found out through many different reports that Secret Services were there on the day of Whitney Houston's death. Then we found, before we found out that Barack Obama was in that hotel, we found out 3 days later the Secret Service had told the Channel 9 CBS News that if you see us, that means that Barack Obama is also here with us as well. He's already here. If you see us, he's already here. And this is when the reporter was trying to get the Secret Service to confirm if Barack Obama was going to return to the Beverly Hilton Hotel. Well, if you put that little segment that the Secret Service said 3 days after her death, and you put it together with the information we found out and discovered with the political news reporting that Secret Services were in the hotel on Saturday, February the 11th, and you put it with that statement that he made with CBS, if you see us, Obama's here, then you will see that Obama was in that hotel the very day that Whitney Houston died. Now, the way that we can also show in a timeline of when Barack Obama had left the Washington, D.C., is that we can go at it in this direction. First of all, we found out that Barack Obama had no scheduled events on Saturday or Sunday, which means leaving him with a 48-hour window of opportunity to disappear off the charts, to disappear off the radar, and to be able to be able to travel from Washington, D.C. to California, all within 9 hours, return trip back to Washington, D.C. He would have been able to show up in that hotel room, go in there, and attend the ritualistic ceremony of Whitney Houston's death, of passing to the other side, to the next life. He could have been there to witness this and be able to fly back to Washington, D.C. exactly within that 48 hours and still be able to return back to California 4 days later, which is what he did, and still stayed in the same hotel as Whitney Houston had died in. And we had this proof. We had it caught on tape. I made this tape several times. But that is my motive that I see, or that is the motive of why I see the coroner, the infamous Ed Winters, and the supervisors, the chief coroner of the coroner's office of Los Angeles, had covered up the actual real truth of what really happened to Whitney Houston. That's, this is I don't know how to put it in any kind of other way other than just to simply, to share this with you all, and hopefully that you all can see how it's all intertwined and interconnected with each other. And so by saying that, I'm going to first of all play this first video, and I'm going to show you how that this first video plays a major role into Clive Davis's family life. This is showing you his greedy wife and his greedy sister-in-law. I guess it's his sister-in-law. I don't know. He seems to feel the power and joy of having two women escorting him to a ceremony celebration thing here. And this video is taken on 2011. I don't know exactly what the time frame date was exactly, but we're going to show you all this information, and you're going to be able to see all this information on the below the video in the information section of the YouTube, and also it will also be posted on Godlike Production once that we have it uploaded on Godlike Production, so that you can all see how this SOB had her murdered. Ready? Now watch carefully. This is exactly how Clive Davis was enjoying his night out in the town with his family, and enjoying that Whitney Houston successful album was made, and he's enjoying all the money he's making off of this. And then right after this one, you're going to see another video that comes right after this that was taken showing Clive Davis how angry he is of how and disappointed he is at Whitney Houston because of her voice being shot. And he considers it an embarrassment, a disgrace, because she's no longer able to produce money for his pocketbook. Watch the disgrace and the demonic attitude of this man. But you're going to get to see that here in just a second. Let me quit talking and let you listen into it. Ready? Here we go.
How do you feel about this whole Michael Jackson mess?
I don't know what mess you're talking about.
Well, I mean, just with the doctors and the whole music industry. You think it's turned it upside down?
We're not.
Bob, I'm
We're here celebrating.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is your anniversary?
Celebrating.
Thank you very much. It's your birthday? Whose birthday?
Well, we're celebrating some musical.
Musical? You like a musical?
What's that?
Which musical is this? Tell us about the musical.
I don't know where he is.
The driver's right over there.
What's the musical?
Whitney Houston's new album.
Mr. Davis, when's Whitney's new album coming out?
Monday.
On Monday?
Monday.
It's going to drop Monday?
It's going to rise Monday.
All right. Think it's going to go triple platinum?
Triple platinum, yay!
Triple platinum, Monday, Whitney Houston, gotta see it, gotta buy it.
$1 Million Bill, that's the number one song.
$1 Million Bill?
Good night, Barbara.
See you soon.
Isn't that insane? She's sitting up there bragging about Whitney Houston. See, it ain't these guys. These guys are not even making no freaking. They didn't do all the hard work. These guys didn't even do nothing. They didn't even. They're just sitting there making their $1 million bill, and they're sitting there celebrating about how that this woman did all the singing, and they're going to make all their cash because they knew exactly that they were going to be killing this woman pretty soon. They know that this woman's fixing to take the damn plunge, because they knew that this was the only album that she had made that made her a success after she had had her drug addiction and that she had ruined her voice. And Clive Davis, what you're going to see in this next video, watch how he expresses his anger. This really gets me every time I look at it. So hang on a second. Here you go.
Getting back to the Whitney example, we did talk. And yes, it's been very upsetting that someone who has the gift, as she has, has had the problems that she's admitted to having gone through in the life, in that manner.
You still have an ongoing business relationship, right? She's still, yes. Okay. Well, let's pray that she just gets it back.
Yes, I fervently hope that she does.
So there's another.
You see, this is what I'm talking about. How how he got his little mind all on the gold. He ain't worried about Whitney Houston's health. He's not worried about anything with Whitney Houston. What this man's worried about is he's worried about his freaking pocketbook. He's worried about how much money he's going to make and how much money he's going to lose on this woman. And this is what's really ticking me off, is that this guy's getting away with an absolute crime, and no one's even seeing nothing. They're not saying nothing, and this is what really ticked me off. When I sit there and I looked at this, I couldn't help but to express my anger in what he did. Now, what I'm going to show you next, now this is going to change. This is showing you the inside of the mind of Clive Davis and his behavior, his attitude, his anger that he had towards Whitney Houston. Is showing you that there's a sense, and not only that, let's all reiterate back into what happened in the past. Okay, if you remember, Clive Davis was brought up in one of Whitney Houston's interviews with Diane Sawyers when she said that this man, Clive Davis, was using Svengali on her. In other words, using mind control, using hypnotic measures or methods to control her mind, to manipulate her in order to persuade, as a form of fear of persuasion, as a way to get her to do whatever this man wanted him to do. She was already exposing this man. She was already saying, that this industry is evil, that she doesn't want nothing to do with this. She said it multiple times, but nobody was listening to her. All the Christians and all these people who claimed to be fans with Whitney Houston did not hear her. They just kept on insulting her, degrading her, because why? She was a drug addict. But no one even questioned how she became a drug addict. You got to remember something, guys. This woman was a purebred Christian. It wasn't Bobby who made her high. It wasn't anybody who got her the first drug that she first took. Somebody slipped something in her food. I don't know if it was her food. I don't know if it was a drink. But somebody gave that woman something that made her an instant addict to whatever it was. And somebody made sure that they kept feeding it to her till she became a full-blown drug addict. You don't take a normal person, a Christian, a person who believes literally in God, and completely convert them over into a drug addict spontaneously out of nowhere, without warning, without anything. This woman wasn't living a secret life, but they were trying to make it look as she was living a secret life. This is where the manipulation of media, and this is where the manipulation of media cuts in and all this. But this is the definite demonic behavior of Clive Davis. And hang on just 1 second, guys. I have to do something real quick, and I hope I don't lose you all. Hang on just 1 second. I have to do this real quick because I don't want to lose my file here. I'm doing this recording broadcast here, and I don't want it to screw up while I'm doing it. So hang on just a quick second, please. All right. Now, but there are many different, multiple ways we can look into the death of Whitney Houston. We can look at it as a conspiracy. We can look at it and put it in the back burner and pretend like this day just never happened, that we're only just imagining this. We're not, nothing seriously has happened to her. Everything is okay. We can all go back to our, green pastures and forget about this and just go, let whatever happen, and just move on to the next phase of our lives. But ladies and gentlemen, something about this case literally has me on fire with literally anger. I can't explain it to you how mad I am about this. Not because of the fact that we have a death of Whitney Houston, but it's also about the fact that they had literally killed this woman on purpose. They killed her on purpose. They lied about it. It's the fact that they deceived the whole public about this. And to me, my wife says, it's too bad we don't have a normal relationship, that we can't quit talking about government conspiracies or conspiracies. And I told her, I said, honey, it's just stuff like this. I can't let get away from the truth. I can't let people let these people lie to them and let this woman die in vain. Or people, if it was you, I would have done the same thing. I would have fought for justice for you. I mean, it's just because when you see something wrong, you want to expose it. Now, to get off that subject about this, I'm going to show you something even more credible. Okay, and I want you to listen very careful to this, because this is revealing the truth of a cover-up. Okay, and it starts right here. This next video that you're all going to hear is going to show you, and this is on the CTV News, the Canadian News, who was there in California during the Grammys when all this unfolded. This coroner, the very next day, Ed Winters, gives a statement publicly, and CTV News was there to capture this because the American news removed this news out of the broadcast. You are not going to find an American broadcast that actually recorded the coroner saying this statement, okay? And because they removed it off their archives, so you don't come back and hunt the come back and prosecute them. So, anyhow, sorry for stumbling with my words here. All right, here this guy tells the whole country that this is, now you got to take in mind, this coroner that you're hearing had already made a pass through, had already seen the body of Whitney Houston. Her body is no longer, when this statement was given, her body was no longer in the hotel room. Her body had been transported to the coroner's office there in the morgue, the coroner's office, so that they could perform an autopsy. Now, this man had walked in there. He even made it in his in his autopsy report. He stated he walked in there and seen her in her nude in the hotel bedroom. Okay, he seen her in her nude. He seen that she had a towel that was thrown off to the side, but she was laying there in her nude where they had tried to revise her. And he walks in there and he says this.
And foul play is not suspected at this time.
But Houston only said she could be but Houston
This time.
But he killed dead in a bathtub. An autopsy has been done, but no official word on the cause. The coroner is just saying.
This is what he said. I'm sorry about that.
There's no visible signs of trauma. And foul play is not suspected at this time. Not signs of trauma. And
No official word on the cause. The coroner is just
Let's
saying.
do it again.
It's not.
there was no visible signs of trauma.
He's saying that there's no visible signs of trauma. That is going to play the biggest key role in this cover-up. You're going to see how that this statement right here is going to be his biggest mistake that got him caught. And I'm going to show you how. Because in his report, I'm going to show you this, and you're going to see it in the document. And I'm going to show so that you can get a clearer picture. Hopefully that you can see that. Hopefully. Come on. I hope that. Okay. I don't know if you can see that in this picture. This is the autopsy report showing a human graphic of what appears to be a human graph on the piece of paper, and it shows where the doctors in the coroner's office had went through her body and examined each one of these, all the marks on her body, from scars, scratches, cuts, abrasions, and ligatures, and also even skin slippage, which is what they claimed was caused by hot water burning her skin, causing the skin to fall off and detach itself from her body. And it marks all of these marks on there. Now, what I'm going to explain to you on this right here, this little sheet here, is that he goes on and explains that she had all of these marks on there. But you got to remember, this is the final closure. This, what I'm holding in my hands, is his final report. Okay? And when he released this, they had already closed the case. They're no longer going to go back into this case again. Now, you got to remember, he said at the very beginning, in his first public statement, that he told all of the media that he went in there and he looked at her body and he said there was no visual trauma to her body. So explain to me, if he's seen her body and he's seen no visual, and you got to remember, she was laying in her freaking nude. So there's no way, if all these marks that he shows on this diagram, on this graphic diagram that you're seeing here in my hand, all these marks, he would have been able to visually see them on her when he made his pass through. But it's apparently that he was manufacturing what he actually seen, because he is reiterating his, pardon my French, I have to say this, guys, I'm sorry I can't go any further, but no, I better not, because I'm going to have to say beep. Okay, I don't I don't want to have to swear, but this guy literally lied and got caught because he sat there and told them he did not see nothing that would indicate foul play. He didn't see no physical. And I'm going to replay that again because this is big. He did not see any physical trauma to her body, but what he draws here, he shows hundreds of marks all over this woman's body. Big marks, not small marks, but big marks. Especially the one on her lower back hip, where it shows what he's claiming, or what he showing here, appearing to be skin slippage, a very huge scar tissue or skin that has fallen off her lower hip of her back. Guys, he went in there to see her body, and he comes out the next day saying he didn't see no physical trauma. And you got to remember, take in mind again, she was laying in her damn nude. There's no way in hell that this man, with all these marks he got written here, he could not physically see these marks on her body when he made his first pass through. There's no way. But then he goes on and saying that he did not see no physical trauma. And in here, and I'm going to let you hear it again. This is where he said he did not see any physical trauma to her body that would indicate foul play. Well, I'm sorry. When I look at this damn document here, I can't help but say, but that's so much damn. This don't look like that he's got here. This doesn't look like a woman who just simply had a freaking heart attack, fell into a bathtub. This looks like defense wounds. This looks like this woman was fighting for her freaking life. This doesn't look like a freaking damn woman who did cocaine and who had a heart attack and simply fell into a hot tub of water, because there are bruises, there's cuts, there's abrasions, there's cuts above her eyes, there's even a blood dripping out of her nose, even marks in places where even hot water couldn't even got to her, that she's even got scar marks and marks of everything. This woman has literally fought for her life. This is not a woman who simply died of a cocaine overdose that induced a heart attack and caused her to collapse into a bathtub. Listen to what this guy says, and you're going to get to see that graphic. I'm going to show you here in just a little bit in details, and so just give me a little bit of time. There's a lot of more to come. Hang on.
But it's not.
There was no visible signs of trauma, and foul play is not suspected at this time. Not suspected at this time. Signs of trauma.
An autopsy has been done, but no official word on cause. The coroner is just saying what it's not.
There was no visible signs of trauma, and foul play is not suspected at this time.
But Houston long said...
Wow. Now, in this autopsy report, they said she died of cocaine overdose. Okay. I find this is quite interesting, that they say that this woman died of cocaine overdose, or that that it was cocaine that induced a heart attack that caused her to ultimately say she had died of drowning. Okay, but what you're going to see here in this next video is you're going to see that they even admitted on the Los Angeles News. They admitted even on the MSNBC Today Show, they said that there was no trace, none. Come on, guys. Even the best criminal could not even clean up a crime scene in that short amount of time, especially that close to having a Grammy party and so many people coming in and out on the same day of the Grammy parties. You can't tell me that this person had a perfect ability to kill this woman in her freaking hotel in the broad daylight in the middle of the afternoon, just within hours of the Grammy party, within 2 or 3 hours of the Grammy party. You're going to tell me this guy walks in there, gives, or that this person can do cocaine and the crime scene be wiped clean of any residue, any kind of cocaine spoons, or showing that she's heating up cocaine for rock crack cocaine, or that she's heating up a glass pipe. Okay, there's no proof whatsoever, and you're going to hear it when they say that there's no cocaine found in her hotel. And they say this several times. No cocaine found. But in this freaking autopsy report, they found all kinds of drugs. They found even a spoon with residue, a white substance. But they failed to even identify what this white substance was. But they're leaving it with you to think, because this is their way of manipulating your thought to make you think that she had cocaine in the room. But this is their first report before that they actually came out with their final report. See, they keep bringing contradictories on contradictories. Even their official report even contradicts everything. Watch. It contradicts even their own statements. Hang on just a minute. Here he goes. Listen to this.
Toxicology reports show Whitney Houston used cocaine before she collapsed and drowned in her hotel bathtub.
It appeared that the cocaine had been used in the time period just probably immediately prior to her collapse in the bathtub at the hotel.
Let me stop right there, because I'm not going to switch videos. I'm going to keep you right there watching this video, okay? This man, this is the chief coroner's office, okay? He's the chief officer that was in charge over Ed Winters. And this guy even stated that the cocaine, he believes and he knows that the cocaine was used immediately prior to her death. In other words, real close to her death. So there was no time in the time frame she died in. There would have been no time for anyone to be able to clean up the residue and to clean the crime scene up of any kind of traces of cocaine in the room. But listen to him. He even says he even believes that Whitney Houston was alive. Okay, wait a minute. If she was, because that explains why the water was in her lungs, she had to have been breathing, she was alive. Even if she was alive, then she would have felt the instant heat, because you don't have a sudden heart attack and die and unconscious death. In most cases, you don't do that. I mean, it's and if it does happen, it's very rare or very seldom that you hear these kind of cases. But because usually you have, first of all, you have a sense of shock and pain before an actual heart attack. You have a little bit of pain that happens before you have a heart attack. But they're trying to make it look like this woman had a sudden instant heart attack. Well, if she had a sudden instant heart attack and collapsed and unconscious, blah, 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 she wouldn't have been breathing. Okay, she had probably been dead, and within minutes been brain dead. But nevertheless, they're trying to say that this woman fell into the bathtub, was able to breathe. I mean, but that's how they're explaining that she got water in her lungs. Well, if she was breathing, then that means that she was trying to push herself up. She would have been able to push herself up. Secondly, and no one would been able to fall flat on their face in the bathtub. That tub was not big enough to fit her body, her full body from feet to head in that bathtub in the laying down position and face down. Part of her body would have been hanging off the edge of the tub, and another part of her body would have been laying in the tub. And if she was unconscious, that's the way it would have been. But if she was breathing and both sides of her body was in the tub, the feet and the head was in the tub in a laid down position face down, then that would have said that, hey, you know what, she tried to fight, she kept slipping, she kept falling, and she just was unphysically able to, which is unheard of. And if this was the case, then how do you explain all the marks all over her body that they said in their final autopsy report? So this is bullshit. Even further into this conspiracy, I see a cover-up happening. Okay, and listen to him what he has to say now. Listen.
We know that when she slipped under the water, she was still alive.
Although the official cause of Houston's...
He knows that she was still alive. And now listen to the official cause of her death.
death is accidental drowning, a spokesman for LA County
Accidental drowning. No one accidental drowning in a damn foot of in a foot of water in a bathtub. Come on, guys. Have you ever heard of anybody accidentally drowning? Okay, there's no accident in drowning. Okay, so this is, but listen in. This gets even better because they're going to admit that there was no cocaine found in there because you're going to hear the next video right after this. Okay, so hang tight. Here goes.
Police coroner says cocaine combined with a heart condition played a key role.
Chances are, had she not had the pre-existing heart disease and cocaine use, she may not have.
Pre-existing heart condition? Are you kidding me? Guys? This woman, there's no reports whatsoever on any news articles, on any entertainment articles, on these celebrity watchdogs. There's no reports anywhere you go, Germany, Europe. It don't make a difference where you go. There has never been a report that Whitney Houston had a heart condition. No report whatsoever. This guy was the first person ever saying she had a precondition. And that they said that she had in the autopsy report, said that she had 60% of her blood vessel in her heart was blocked. Okay, really? Wait a minute. Do you remember her swimming? She walked when she told Monica that she had been swimming for 2 hours. She does it every day for 2 hours. This is her love and routine that she does every day. If a woman who had this much energy and going out partying and joking and kidding around and had full of energy, and this woman did not live a life of a patient who had 60% of her heart blocked. You're not listening carefully, guys, because 60% she would have been fainting. She would have been falling out without breathing. She could not breathe. That's how bad a 60% heart blockage can do to a person. Go research it. The internet's filled with doctors who put this information out about heart disease and heart blockage. I've even had family who died of a heart blockage. I know more about heart attacks than this idiot that's sitting here telling me about Whitney Houston's health condition. Because she surely didn't have no damn signs of heart blockage. This woman was healthy. But they had to sell it because of the drug addiction. See, that's the part where that's confusing too. Oh, excuse me. I didn't mean that. I wish I could edit that out of the video. But anyhow, this is where they had went in and faked this medical condition of her. Now, listen in. This gets better. Watch.
Other drugs were found in Houston's body, including marijuana, Xanax, Benadryl, and a muscle relaxer. But these are not believed to have played a role in her death. The coroner's office did not say how much cocaine was found in the 48-year-old's body, but said there was evidence of, quote, chronic usage.
You don't have to take a certain amount or a minimum amount of cocaine to actually die from an arrhythmia, a cardiac irregularity.
Dr. Michael Fishbein is the chief of autopsy at UCLA Medical Center.
I think what's unusual and what complicated this case was that Whitney Houston happened to die in a bathtub, but she might have died, even if she weren't in a bathtub.
Now, you see what I'm talking about? This crap right here is insane. They're trying to now make it look like she would have died anywhere else because she had a heart condition and she had a cocaine. It don't matter how much you take of cocaine, it can make you have an arrhythmia, heart attack, and blah, blah, blah. It's just so unfortunate that she died in a bathtub. Blah, blah, blah. Guys, this is getting even more sickening and sinister. Watch and see. You'll see what I'm talking about. Here goes.
Houston's soaring mezzo-soprano propelled her from church choir to international superstar, but her admitted drug use had long been cause for concern. Her family released a short statement saying, "We are saddened to learn of the toxicology results, although we are glad to now have closure." In 2010, during a comeback tour, Houston struggled to hit those notes that she used to nail with ease. Houston's daughter, Bobby Christina, talked about.
Listen to where he said that there was no drugs found. Let's go back up again. Okay, listen carefully. Hang on. Let me put it back here again.
Are glad to now have closure. In 2010, during a have closure. Are glad,
Sorry, hang on a second, guys. I'm having
Bobby
trouble here.
said there was evidence of, quote, chronic usage.
You don't have to take a certain amount.
As the chief of autopsy,
What's unusual
to international superstar, but her admitted drug use had long been cause for concern. Her family released a short statement saying, "We are saddened to learn of the toxicology results, although we are glad to now have closure." In 2010, during a comeback tour, Houston struggled to hit those notes that she used to nail with ease. Houston's daughter, Bobby Christina, talked about her mother's legacy in a recent interview with Oprah Winfrey.
Everything that people are saying about her, you know, all that negativity, it's garbage.
Yeah.
That's not my mother. That's not who she is.
Now, investigators here in Beverly Hills did not find any traces of illegal drugs in Houston's hotel room. There was a report swirling yesterday that someone had removed the cocaine from the hotel room and that same person was the one supplying the cocaine to Whitney Houston. I asked a spokesperson with the Beverly Hills Police Department about that report. He told me that he could not confirm or deny the report, but said that the investigation remains open. Willie?
All right.
You see what I'm getting at, guys? This guy, he admits that there's no drugs found. He couldn't prove either or. And if there was somebody that was in there to clean it up, how could he have been able to do it? Somebody explain that one to me. Impossible. You're talking about 3:55. She died. She was declared dead at 3:55 p.m. February the 11th. That evening, they had the Grammy party. The same evening. The next day, they had the Grammys. Okay, the actual thing. But they still went on with their party. They still went and had it. Well, she laid up in her room for 11 hours. 11 hours. Okay, and still went on enjoying this time. Who ordered the coroner to keep the body up there in the room? Somebody had a lot of power to do so. But it was not Clive Davis who had this power. Now you have to think about what is it that the coroners would do here to cover up. Why would they cover up for Clive Davis? Well, first of all, they didn't just cover up for him because Clive Davis is simply just not big enough that they would cover up for him. He's simply not that big. But remember I told you earlier in the segment, Barack Obama big enough that he would have to cover up. Barack Obama has the power to manipulate the law enforcement. He has the power to tell them what to do and what not to do. The police department, you got to remember, work for the New World Order. Don't forget this, guys. Whatever you do, they work for corrupt government who are perpetrating and orchestrating a one world government system, which in that one world government system means no freedom for no one. Nothing whatsoever. Their whole job is to destroy, dismantle, and break down the freedoms and the free will in mankind to enslave every mankind to their system. I know this is about Whitney Houston and not about the New World Order, but it is connected to the New World Order. It is connected to the conspiracy of what this government has perpetratedly and purposely is doing in destroying the government. They're destroying our system. They're destroying our economy. They're destroying everything. And it's all interconnected. Everything I'm sharing with you is interconnected. But it plays in multiple different formats and phases. It plays as a great distraction to what government are doing. It plays a perfect distraction to what the music industry of Clive Davis is doing. It plays perfectly into a very diabolical position, but it also plays a very good biblical story of what's about to happen to America. Keep looking, guys. Because this story that I'm talking about is that it brings to life the birth of a very demonic presence that is even recorded and spoken about in your Bible. When I refer to this, I'm referring to the Antichrist. It's all connected. But I'm not going to get into that subject right now, because this gets deeper and deeper. Because you will see how that this all plays out pretty quick. So, and you'll see why Brahma was there. I'm going to explain that in the very end of this segment, and I'm going to be short about it. I'm not going to be brief because I'm just about out of time with this segment of the video, with this broadcast here. So, what I'm going to show you here is that you got witnessed here. This is the report that happened back in March, okay, that all the Los Angeles News, the MSNBC had reported that there was no cocaine or residue found by the police department and by the coroner's office. They had reported this several times in several different news networks, okay? Now, this is what they found after the final reports of the autopsy. See, watch how they change the story, how they contradict what they're saying. And listen very careful to this, because this is wide open. This is as clear as a bell as you can ever hear it. Ready? Here it goes.
Says detectives found white powder and a spoon with white residue in her hotel room in Beverly Hills. The report does not identify the powder as cocaine, but that drug was found in her system, and the coroner listed cocaine use as a contributing factor in her death. Says detectives found white powder and a spoon.
They found white powder and a spoon. Now, this is a total different turnaround to what they had said that in that last video I just played to you. A total different flip, okay, of what they said they found that they didn't find in her hotel in the last video. They now find it in their final report of their autopsy. They completely flipped, because they had to completely convince the public by selling this as the final report that they have actually found the real truth. Guys, this ain't the truth. What you're seeing here is a freaking flat-ass freaking lie, okay? They didn't find no drugs in there, and there's no way in hell they could have found drugs in there. If they didn't find it the first time they went in there, they ain't going to find it the second time in there. And the only way that this becomes now, after this point, it becomes manufactured information. It ain't real. It ain't fact. It is a lie being portrayed here, and a cover-up trying to plant an image or a picture of what is supposed to have transpired but did not transpire. They're trying to make this woman look like a drug addict who OD'd, who had a heart attack. And that's all that they're trying to do. But they can't do it if it ain't true. It ain't what happened. This is not what happened. But it's what they're trying to paint the picture is what happened. And you can tell clearly that this is a manufactured job. But what you're going... I'm going to continue. I'm going to play that one more time, and so that you can hear it one more time. And I want you all... because this next segment, after I get done with this, is I'm going to show you something that will freaking blow your mind out of the pocket. Because this is the evidence that will prove to you without a shadow of a doubt that this whole death of Whitney Houston was staged. But the real death of Whitney Houston did occur. But the whole event was staged for a reason. And that reason I've discussed it in multiple videos that I've made on this subject. This one here is the evidence sitting right in my freaking hand, because this tells the whole truth right here. I'm sorry. This whole thing, this woman death was a blood, literally. And I'm saying this not because you heard it on YouTube. I'm not saying it because you heard it on other blogs or other information. This, what I'm telling you, is literally a fact. That this not only become a murder, but it became a blood sacrifice, sacrilege, ritualistic ceremony that they were doing on that night she died. And that's the reason why Barack Obama was there. And I've told you this, I've stressed this. I literally stressed this, guys. I'm not telling you stuff that and trying to feed and pump yourself up with a lot of crap. But you're going to see in the last part of this video, you're going to see how it's done. This is mind-boggling. Okay, so I'm going to play this one more time, and then I'm going to go straight to the juicy part. I can't help it, guys. I got to show you this. This is off the chart stuff. Okay, now I'm going to let this play one more time, and you will see that they changed their whole coat. Now, you remember I told you they didn't find no lesions, they didn't find no bruises in his first statement, and then I showed you that in the autopsy they did find bruises and everything was wrong with her. I mean, everything in the moon. They just added everything. They manufactured everything that did not occur to this woman, and they added it all to doctor it up to make it look convincible that this woman had these kind of problem and kind of death in her when her death occurred. It didn't happen this way. But listen to this. This is crazy stuff, man. And the more that me and my wife are looking at this, I'm freaking blown with it. I can't get away from the story. It keeps sucking me in to want to know more about it. So listen in. Here goes.
Autopsy report says detectives found white powder and a spoon with white residue in her hotel room in Beverly Hills. The report does not identify the powder as cocaine.
It does not identify the powder as cocaine, but they want to leave your mind thinking it is. If they found white powdery substance in a spoon next to the bathtub, they're trying to plant. Remember the story: cocaine, white powder. They're trying to sell it and use manipulation to persuade you into believing that white powdery substance. See, they didn't confirm it was cocaine. They just say they found white powder. Well, earlier they didn't find nothing in the hotel room that would indicate cocaine or any sign of powders or anything like that. They would have mentioned that in their first report if they did find all of this, but they didn't. Okay, and this is where the collaboration, the manufactured autopsy, was being created. Listen.
And the coroner listed cocaine use as a contributing factor in her death. Whitney Houston drowned in a bathtub in February.
She drowned in a bathtub in February. She didn't drown. She did drown. Somebody held her down to make sure that she didn't get up. Because if this woman was alive before she died, that's the only way that you can explain the water in her lungs. Somebody was holding her down. Somebody was making sure that this woman didn't get back up. Somebody was making sure, because she was breathing, and all these marks that the damn doctor was saying that she had on her, that they didn't see at first. If she did have these marks on her, then this is no longer can be considered as a person who died of a heart attack and fell into just simply a bathtub. These are marks that of somebody who's defending themselves, because she even has defense marks on her hand that they claim here on this autopsy. Cut marks on her ring finger. That ain't a mark you would have gotten from falling in a bathtub, because there's no sharp objects in the bathtub. What sharp object? The only sharp object there is in a bathtub is not even a faucet. Well, if there is a faucet, well, the sharp object is pointing downward, not upwards. And the only way she can get to that is only if she's coming from the bottom of the tub upwards and then cut herself. But that's not the case here. This woman had marks on her. They're claiming she had marks all over her body that does not show or indicate anything to do with a drowning. But it does not go in consistency to the crime scene that they're claiming, or to the death scene that they claim on this document here. So, but anyhow, all right. Now, the best part that I want to get to is this right here. And now, guys, I'm going to have to be off the. I'm not going to be on the video when I show you this next segment, because this next segment is going to be the document itself. Okay, so I hope that you all are able to see it. I will not be able to see what I'm doing here. I'm just going to scroll and hope that you down the document, and hope that you all see it as I'm explaining it to you all. All right, so bear with me and hang tight. Make sure that all of you can see my full website here. Just a minute here. Give me 1 second here. I've got to get it all up here. Okay, making sure that everybody can view that. Okay. Okay, hang on just a minute here. Because I got to get this where you can all see it, because I don't want to screw this up and y'all can't see it. That's the reason why you see me moving something around so that I can see it. Okay, here we go. All right, now I know that you can all see it. Okay, now what you're seeing, this is the first page that I noticed on this autopsy. This is the actual first page of the report, and you can see the date right up here right up here, 2012. You can see how that they prepared it here. But what the one thing that I noticed is that it was so freaking fake document that they couldn't even spell the woman's name right. You see there? They couldn't even spell Whitney Houston's middle name properly. Okay, that's how much they really cared about this woman. But that's not the important part that I'm going to look at, that I want you all to stay focused on. Okay, the next one that I want to show you is this one. All right, you must pay attention to this right here, guys, and I'm going to highlight it, hopefully that you all can see it. Okay. This is the officer. His name is Heon, Detective Heon of the Beverly Hills Police Department. This is his report. He stated on Saturday, on 02/11/2012 at 21:04 hours, Sergeant Publicker, that's his name, Publicker Heon, okay, from the Beverly Hills Police Department, called the Los Angeles County Coroner's Office to report a natural versus accidental death of a 48-year-old black female that possibly drowned in the bathtub. Now, this is the officer who also claimed that he showed up on the 11th here, but I'm going to show you another document where even this here contradicts his official filed statement upon his arrival at the hotel. And you're going to see the date. Remember, focus on that date right here, okay? Because this date is not the same as his official statement that he filed, and I'm going to show you the file number that he filed with the report. Now, this part right here that you're looking at, this is not the actual signed statement of the officer. This is the actual statement of the coroner's office. Okay. This is an actual fill-in. In other words, it's not the official filed statement of the police officer. This is something that the coroner's office had filed themselves. They filled this in. They put all this information, and they changed the dates right there. This is the coroner's office who changed the date of when this police officer arrived at the hotel. You see what I'm getting at? And you'll see it's not even signed by him. Watch. See? It's not even signed by him. And all these dates here is only signed by the coroner. See there? This is the supervisor of the coroner's office. It's even filed here, signed by him, as trying to make it look and confirm that this is an official document. Now, we're going to go to page 13 of this document, okay? The one that I noticed. The very first one. Hang on just a second, guys. This is a long document. Okay. Now you remember the same Officer Publicker Heon. That's his name. This is his actual official document he filed before the police department and at the police department. And this is the file number, as you can see right here. Okay. You'll see the file. Oh, sorry about that. You will see the file number right here, agency file number 12-0806, which means this is his statement he filed with the police department. Okay. Now, you're going to go to page 1 of his statement. He states here, also see coroner investigator reports for the additional information, including scenes and descriptions, cases, circumstances, and conditions of body. Now, notice this. On February the 10th. Now, this is at the top of this document, so there's no way in hell they couldn't have seen this date. On February the 10th, now this is the day before she dies, at 19:06 hours, I was notified by the coroner's office, the coroner investigator, B. Ellis, okay, that the coroner, chief medical examiner, Dr. I can't say Sathu Vaginzavaran, I can't say this last name because it's a really difficult name, was requesting that a criminalist, listen to this, on February the 10th, 2012, 1906 hours, this police officer said, I was notified by the coroner investigators, Bill Ellis, that the coroner chief medical examiner, Dr. L. Sathivasan, blah, 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 okay, was requesting that a criminalist respond to a death scene. I'm going to put that quote, and I want you to see it. Let me, I can't highlight it. I'm sorry, guys. Are you kidding me? This officer was dispatched by the coroner's office, was notified by the coroner's office to show up and was requesting a criminalist to respond to a death scene. Look at the date. There's no death that has occurred in this freaking hotel. And why are they calling it a death scene on February the 10th? There was no death. There was no death that occurred on February the 10th. But what this does show, and I'm going to go to the next one, listen carefully, because this shows you that this whole situation of the death of Whitney Houston was staged, and they were preparing to stage the day before her freaking death. At 21:22 hours, Beverly Hills Police Department advised that it was ready for our department to respond to the scene. It was ready to respond? Wait a minute, guys. Listen careful. A death, they're trying to make it look like a death has occurred. But in this statement, they're saying that a death has not occurred. That the Beverly Hills Police Department is preparing and is readying their police department and preparing them for a police response to the scene even when the death has not occurred. You see what I'm getting at, guys? She was murdered. And they were preparing for it. Now, they claim that the water was 90 degrees when they found her body. They claim that the water, 8 hours later, the water was still 89 degrees 8 hours later. How in the hell is the water still 80 or is still warm or heated up that much 8 hours later? It's impossible. Secondly, who turned off the hot water so that the water would not overflow? Thirdly, they said that her liver was 96 degrees temperature 8 hours later. Guys, this woman's dead. She's been dead for 8 hours. It's impossible for her liver to have the temperature of 89 or 96 degree temperatures. It's impossible. It's humanly, hell, not even logically possible. But no, when you look at this very top paragraph, my wife said at first that this was a misprint. It's just got to be a misprint. Blah blah blah. I said that I would have bought that if that this was a misprint if it hadn't been for this right here. This right here, the file number tells me this ain't no misprint. He filed this exactly as it was written. And this right here, if it was a misprint, they would have made the correction. They would have been able to see this mistake and been able to make the corrections to this mistake before they made a final report on this. But the truth is, they didn't, because this was already filed into evidence and it was no mistake at all. This man put what he did, he documented exactly when he arrived in that, and he gave himself away. They now put themselves in the crime scene before a crime scene was committed. Now, this is the criminalist report. Wow. The criminalist report was the officer, publisher. He's a detective. Now, and they even go to admitting that they were readying up their department for a crime scene. They were readying it up. They were wanting the world to know. See, hang on a second. I'm having trouble with this highlighter. They were readying it up. They were letting everybody know we need to send a criminalist to respond to a death scene February the 10th. It was ready for the department to respond to the scene. First of all, the department does not ready its department to respond to a scene of a crime. They don't ready their police officers. When a death occurs, they instantly and immediately go to the scene of the crime or the scene of where the death has occurred. They don't ready the department for it. They go instantly. Patrol officers and everybody goes there immediately when the death has occurred, because the first 24 hours and 48 hours that a death has occurred is the most crucial time in case a crime has been committed, that they can obtain all of the evidence before the evidence is contaminated. But apparently it wasn't. And guys, let's not forget the coroners of the 911 call by the hotel security officer. The hotel security officer called 911. Dispatcher says, 911, what's your non-emergency? What's your non-emergency? Who answers non-emergency on a 911 call? Okay, then the security officer of the hotel says a woman contacted him, said that she has problems getting out an outside line to contact 911. Could you please contact 911? He says, I called you. And then he says, and then he gives the hotel room number, and he makes a mistake on the hotel room number. And you got to remember, in this 911 call, no one had given the hotel room number to anyone. Not even the dispatcher of 911 even knew the room number. When he said he gave the room number 634, and he gave the wrong room number, and the dispatcher, when he was giving the wrong room number, the dispatcher said, you mean 434. Now, how in the freaking hell did the dispatcher know which room she was in and know which patient it was when no one even gave the number? We have that report. It's public. There's no way in hell that dispatcher could have known which room she's in. And it's funny that even the 911 caller didn't even know the name of the woman. The woman that claimed that, or the woman that he claimed that had called him, didn't even give him the name of her. She's in her room. Yes, I'm in room 434, Whitney Houston's room, and she happens to fall out. Not even did he even know her name. This damn story has holes bigger than Swiss cheese. It's as BS as you've ever even heard. But nevertheless, let's go on a little bit further, and then I'm going to stop this segment of this video. I'm going to go to page where it says page 20. Okay, and I want you to pay attention to the page, because it gets hard to see it from here, and I don't want to, there we go. You remember I told you, this is the actual official County of Los Angeles Police Department. This is the picture. I told you that they're going to see, that they want the whole, everybody that's interested in this story, they want them to believe that this is what the coroner had seen on her body when they did their investigation and their examination of her body when it was delivered to the morgue. They claim that they've seen all these abrasions. They've seen all of these skin slippage. Skin slippage means, ladies and gentlemen, it means skin that's falling off the body from burn marks. Okay, in other words, that literally is falling off the body. And they claim that there's big old huge skin slippage, large, and they even give the size of the skin slippage on her chest. Notice that they're using a graphic of a man's body here, not a female. Okay, they show all these ligatures, and they show all of these abrasions, bruises, cut marks on her forehead, and on her cheekbone, and a bloody nose and her lip, and then they show all her liver temperature. They show it right there. See the liver temp right there, and they show all these abrasions, and it keeps on going. Look, and then there's that big mass that they see on her back, and you're going to tell me that all these marks on Whitney Houston's body, there's her name right there. You can see Whitney Elizabeth Houston. You can see her name, and what's so funny is that, I'm sorry, my bad, is that the printer on this print machine is out of ink. It ain't even printing a clear document to show even a clear name. Is this so hush, like it's almost hurried up information. There's her marks on her hands that shows that she had. If these marks a broken fingernail, or it looks like it says here an 1/8 of an inch abrasion on the ring finger of her right finger. Shows another abrasion on her left knuckle right here on the back of her left knuckle. Now, if she fell straight into the freaking bathtub, she's not going to have marks on the back of her hands. She's not going to have marks on the back of her hands. She's not going to have marks on the back and abrasions. And it says it's all abrasions. It doesn't even say anything about skin slippage here. It just says abrasions. Okay? And it even marks right there an era. ERROR. Okay, right there. But they keep saying that these are the marks that they were found on her body, on the back side of her body. Contusions, meaning an open wound right here on her, right up on her upper arm of her, and right close to her armpit, shows even more blood in contusions. And this is right here are marks that are not done by just simply falling in a freaking bathtub. Also, on her thighs, it didn't say skin slippage. It just says, I can't hardly read what that says, guys, and I apologize right here. I can't read it. Okay, it's bad, poor handwriting. But anyhow, you can see, as you can see, more skin slippage. They call it skin slippage here, skin slippage here. They're saying that it's large, huge marks from burn marks of the hot water. These are all fake freaking marks. Skin slippage here, 3 times 3 inches. Okay, 3 by 3 inches. Okay, and identification band, abrasions on her shin. Okay. Now, this is signed by the coroner. Now we're getting to the skull part. They're saying that there's an abrasion up on her forehead, underlining a 4-inch contusion, a cut right here on the forehead, a cut above her eyes of 1 1/4 and 5/8 inch, and a contusion on her nose, cut right here, 5/8 by a 1/2 inch. This is a freaking fight mark. This is not a simple fall in a freaking bathtub mark. But this is what you got to keep in mind when you look at this. When you look at this autopsy report and a big old gash, a scar on her throat right there. What's she doing with a scar on her throat? There's never been no signs of a scar. I've never seen no scar on her neck. Okay. We go on a little bit further, and I believe that was. And then they're saying that her oral cavity, she had all of her teeth in perfect condition, and then in her final autopsy report they said that she had all 11 teeth missing, but in her first initial report they said that she had all of her teeth there. So in other words, this thing right here it contradicted everything. But nevertheless, guys, now that's 49 pages of pure BS reading that I had ever encountered or ever discovered in my life, guys, that I've ever sat down and listened to. So I never read. Huh? Yeah, I've already talked about that. If the water temperature was as hot as it was, explain to me. My wife was talking to me in the background because she wanted to remind me what to talk about here. Is that the water temperature, guys, there's no way in the world at 7 hours later that the water temperature can go from a 96 degree temperature to an 89 degree temperature 7 hours later. Not even if the room temperature is warm. The water still would not have maintained that temperature because of the water is in more of a metallic type bathtub. Okay? Right, unless it was, not even if it's boiling hot. But even and if it was boiling hot, I mean, explain to me how that the temperature was turned on so hot. Even Whitney Houston, being sober, would not have turned that water on so hot and then jumped in the bathtub. Yeah, and I'm just sitting up here just trying to figure out why she had so many burn marks all over her body, and it doesn't match how her body would have fallen into the bathtub. Even if she was completely lifeless and she was standing on the outside of the bathtub, she would not have been able to fall in the bathtub with her whole body from feet to head in that tub. Part of her body would have been hanging out of the tub. There's no way. There's simply no way. Ladies and gentlemen, this has got more holes than Swiss cheese in this story, and it was a murder. It was a crime that was being committed. But this murder was not just only Clive Davis behind this death. This even goes all the way up to Barack Obama. I've told you this. I've shared this information with you before. I've even put it in my last videos, and I'm going to post the same links again. I'm not going to show it in this video here. I've even posted the links. I'm going to post the same links that I have in my other videos about Barack Obama being there. And I want you all to put into your own minds 2 and 2 together to come up with the actual truth and conclusion to yourself. I myself am not trying to persuade you with my opinion, but page 13 of the, let me read it one more time here. Page 13 of the criminalist report. Sergeant Publicer Heon reports and files 12/0806, page 1 through of 2 pages. Prince in here says that they have arrived at the hotel on February the 10th. Now, why would he be there? And if it was a misprint, he would not have released this damn document to the public without making a correction, because you got to remember, this is a public document. This 49-page document is released to the public, and you're going to tell me they were so freaking careless that they didn't even correct their own freaking mistakes on here? Or do you think they didn't give a shit if you knew the truth or not, and wanted to push the waters because they knew they were fixing to get ready to close this case anyways, and it's going to be hard for you to get this case reopened unless you take this information and all of your evidence that you have obtained from the moment that woman died till now, like I have done. I've documented everything that happened around this woman. If you've taken everything and you document it and you go before the grand jury, this case will have no other choice but to reopen. They would have no other choice but to reopen this case, because why? This is a cover-up and a manufactured autopsy. Period. Anybody wants to debate with me? Anybody wants to dispute this? I am wide open and willing to challenge you on anything you want to talk about, because I have no problems exposing what I found. And I have no problems challenging these people. I have no problems exposing these people. All I need is people like you who really cared about this woman and really cares about justice and really cared to stop these celebrity slashing and to stop these criminals in this industry from murdering innocent people as a blood sacrifice gift unto a ruler of the country. In other words, President Obama, because I believe her death was a gift unto Barack Obama. I literally believe it, guys, and I'm not exaggerating. I'm not going to sit up here and feed you a line of crap. I literally know he was there. You can call me a nutcase. I'm used to it. You can call me crazy. I don't care. I simply am not going to change my mind what I found and what I believe myself. There's nothing going to change that in me. Guys, we're in for a very big surprise, and very bad things are about to come. This death of this woman is not the story as what I'm trying to explain to you. Her death was far much bigger than just simply killing Whitney Houston. It was far much more bigger than Clive Davis benefiting the money. And it was far much more bigger than anybody in this country, including President Obama, could even obtain. Her death was bringing about, and I want you to listen very carefully. And you got to remember, I don't believe in the Bible, but I believe the Bible is a blueprint. I believe And I strongly know that her death was to bring about, as a gift unto Barack Obama, to bring him into power. And I'm going to say this very clearly and read my lip, and don't get no mistake about it. I believe Barack Obama, and I'm not prejudiced, I'm not racist, I love all people, I love black, whites, and even, why am I defending Whitney Houston if I'm a racist? Okay? Ask yourself that question before you even try to accuse me of being racist. But I believe Barack Obama is the Antichrist. Literally. His name identifies as the Antichrist. His name is translated in English as lightning in heaven. And lightning in heaven is translated back in Hebrew as Barack Obama. You can look in Luke 10. In Luke 10, it describes who Satan was, falling like lightning from the heavens. You take those two words, lightning in heaven, and you go and translate it in its Hebrew text, you'll find out it was identifying who the Antichrist was. And I believe the Antichrist is only symbolic. It is not a reality. It's not a real thing, but it's a symbolic that these people believe in, and it's so believed and so empowered that they're actually bringing it about into a reality to make it appear as a reality that this event is real, because they believe they have empowered themselves to become a god, to become a sedition to our freedoms, a sedition, a perdition of evil and demonic presence to destroy and annihilate everyone's freedoms and rights in this world. And I believe Whitney Houston's death was a symbolic death that was bringing the death or the spirit of an ancient god by symbology into Barack Obama's spirit. You got to remember, this is all symbolic. It's nothing to do with reality, but it is being practiced as a reality. And I believe her death fell as a victim to it. Guys, and I believe that's the reason why the coroner's office literally lied about the truth, about the information, about the real reasons why Whitney Houston died. I believe this is the reason why they covered up the truth. Because it wasn't over Clive Davis. See, Clive Davis is just a peon, neon, New World Orderist Illuminati, okay? This man right here is an Illuminati kill machine, okay? He don't give a shit. He's just making money and killing celebrities that make him money because they're worth more money when he makes them big and he kills them and he kills their reputation publicly. He still makes money hand over fist while they're sitting in a grave. So he's not worried about a damn thing. But this machine that I'm talking about that would cause a coroner and a police department to cover up the truth of what would happen and what transpired in that damn hotel is much bigger than Clive Davis. They're not going to ruin their careers or their reputation or risk a massive lawsuit against the police department unless this thing is much bigger than Clive Davis. And the only thing that showed up at that hotel on that night that was bigger than any celebrity in that damn hotel was Barack Obama. And he's the only one that the coroners would have lied for, would have been paid to lie for. It has to be big for these people to take that kind of interest. But by saying that, ladies and gentlemen, I hope this video right here literally gets pushed up to the very top of all of your websites. I am not going to give up exposing these criminals. I'm not going to give up showing you how it's all connected. Because I believe that we can all work together to bring these people to justice. Because it all begins by you all getting involved. It all begins by you all set aside all your religious indifferences, your beliefs and your indifferences all together, and your ideas and your thoughts, and put them all together and come up with a solution that we can bring these people to justice. Clive Davis should never miss a courtroom, nor should Barack Obama. These people should pay for their crimes that they did unto humanity. By saying that, ladies and gentlemen, I want to wish you all a good night and keep it safe and get involved for this fight. Not just for own Whitney's sake, but also your sake and your family's sake, get involved and bring these people to justice once and for all. Stop being afraid, Whitney Houston's family. Stop being afraid of the industry, because your truth is more powerful than the industry if you stop being afraid. You claim to be Christians for God? Then fight to be Christians for God and to be a soldier to fight against the evil industry, the evil deities, as Shaka Khan did in her interview. It's all up to you guys. This video should go viral. It should go all over the world. It should go in every website, and everybody should see the truth of who these people are. They should know who these people are. I don't waste hours and days in and days out and time away from my family to give you all this information, to be wasting your time or bluffing you about these people. When I investigate these people, I go deep into the well of these people. I go into their minds. I go deep into where they think and where they act and where they respond and where they carry out their deities and their evil upon our race of men in our society. It's much more crazier than you think, guys. This is not just a simple death. And it's not a simple drug addiction. And it's not about a simple drug addiction, even though it looks on the outside as how they portrayed it. But the more you dig deeper and the deeper you get into this subject, you're going to start seeing conspiracy bigger than crap in this story. You're going to see holes covered very deep, and it goes much further. It even goes to the White House, like I have said. Guys, have a good night. Please take this serious. Take this information serious and get out there and research it if you don't believe me. Put it together, as I have put it together for all of you. All you have to do is read it. It's right there in black and white, this manufactured crap. And I'm angry. Oh, I am very angry. But by saying that, let Whitney Houston's heart soothe your heart. Let her spirit soothe your spirits through her song. Please. This is dedicated to Whitney Houston, who died February the 11th, 2012, and who was born August the 9th, 1963. This is for your family too, Whitney. I hope they do wake up, and I hope they do get in and fight for your justice that you so well deserve. Thank you, and good night all. Thank you.
As I lay me down, heaven hear me now. I'm lost without a cause, after giving it my all. Winter storms have come and darkened my sun. After all that I've been through, who on earth can I turn to? I look to you, I look to you. After all my strength is gone, in you I can be strong. I look to you. Searching for that open door. And every road that I've taken led to my regret. And I don't know if I'm gonna make it. Nothing to do but lift my head. I look to you. strength is gone.